So welcome to Riders Diaries, everyone. And we're at my this is my local tourist haunt, I suppose. This is Appleby Bridge. It's about 3 miles away from me, and it features on almost all of my videos in one way or another. And this is it on a regular summer's day. So we've got a lot of parked cars, got a lot of tourists walking around. We get a bit of congestion, not a lot, but a fair bit for the lakes. And while this is all well and good, I mean, certainly the area needs a business after what they went through in winter with the floods. It does kind of put you off your riding a bit. You're following cars who don't know where they're going, and you're doing 20 or 30 mile an hour on roads where you could legally be doing 60. And you think, well, you know, this isn't what you really want. There must be other answers out there. You know, places where people don't go, where you can still enjoy your riding without coming across a whole stack of traffic. And there are. Yeah, very luck. I'll get to show you those in a little while. So welcome back, everyone. Let's see how we get. Now this is a little something I like to call Know Your Enemy. Now, it's not conclusive by any means, and it shouldn't be relied upon, and it's a little cliched, but it does make you think about the person in front of you, and you get all sorts of motorists in front of you. So at the moment I'm following a Land Rover Freelander. It's a 4x4 soft roader, if you like, got a tow hook, a muddy one at that, single occupant. It's got a local Land Rover dealer sticker on the back wheel, and it's doing the speed limit. This screams to me a local. Now, I've got nothing to fear about locals. If anything, I need to comply with locals, because when you're this far up north, I'm as good as an immigrant. But I know that this person knows the roads. I know this person's going to respect towns and villages they go through, because they live around here. They probably know the people in these towns and villages. So there we go, Freelander, local dealership sticker on the back wheel, muddy tow hook, probably a farmer of some kind. A bit cliched, but it tells me something about the driver. That's the point I'm putting across. And I know this driver's going to be, well, they're not going to do anything to surprise me. Let's put it that way. They're not going to be on the phone. They're not going to start diving into a driveway or a campsite at the last minute. They're not going to suddenly pull over because they want to look at a local monument or an area of natural beauty. So there we go. Know your enemy. I'm sure we'll come across more of them. Now, I've always had this unwritten rule, I suppose, that 20s, 30s, 40 mile an hour limits you stick to. As far as I'm concerned, they're urban, or they're semi-urban or semi-rural, however you want to put it, and they're there for a reason. I've got pavements, I've got street lamps, I've got houses either side. The 50s and 60s and 70s, as far as I'm concerned, are fair game. You use appropriate speed. Now, I know people are going to turn their nose up at this. Oh no, you got to stick to speed limits, wobble, wobble, wobble. Well, yes you do, if you want to be legal. But legal and safe aren't necessarily always the same thing. So, I wouldn't do 60 in fog, and I wouldn't do 60 on a clear, empty road. You know, we're not 12. We can work this out for ourselves. Stepping stone to the lakes and fells. So that's Shap's big take on it. All I really know about this place is it's on the coast to coast walk. Some clever bugger, might have been Wainwright, might have been someone else, thought it'd be a good idea to create a walk that goes from the west in St Bees, just south of Whitehaven, right the way over to, bugger me, I've forgotten, Fuck knows, but it's somewhere over on the northeast coast. And it's a particular path everyone follows. And I suppose if you're in a village, or even better, you've got a B&B or an inn in that village on that coast to coast walk, then you are guaranteed tourism, which is just the sort of thing you want to know if you're thinking about opening a B&B up here. My first job up here was actually in Kirby Stephen, where it was on the coast to coast, and I was working in a small hostel cum hotel. Great little place it was. Had its own bar, had its own dining room, 6 rooms, just a nice manageable size, run by 2 of the biggest dickheads I've ever met in my life, who for some reason thought I would work for nothing. Oh, how we laughed about that one. Needless to say, I left it after 3 weeks, which is a real pity because it had real potential. But no, I wasn't sad to see those 2 go. Place closed down 6 months later. Can't say I'm surprised. Right, here we go. This is rather unfortunate, but this is what we got. Wagons. Wagons at a 30-mile-an-hour limit, no less. So what do we know about them? Long, wide, heavy, slow-moving vehicles. You need a bit of time to get past them. And during that time, you've got to make sure there's no driveways coming out, there's no side turnings, there's no junctions, and of course there's nothing coming the other way. What else do we know about them? Well, we know because of their size, they're quite often a brake for oncoming traffic, especially when you're in an urban area like this. What can we do? We can keep a good distance back. We can keep in their wing mirrors, or at least see their wing mirrors. And if you've got any local knowledge, then think about any industrial areas. Think about where it might be turning into. If there's a truck stop, where there's a petrol station. What's it got on the back? It's got nothing on the back, but it could be making a delivery. All these things, they help you just that little bit more. National speed limit, quick mirror check, clear, lifesaver, over we go. And that's pretty straightforward. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I want to be past him as quick as I can. So I know the law says I can't go above 60, blah blah blah. Well, bollocks to that. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the road any longer than I really want to be. So we get past him as quick as we can. Now this really is fell riding. We're on Alton Scar, and it's a thin strip of blacktop that goes right across one of the fells. It's going to drop down into Appleby. As you can see, we still cannot take it for granted. Well, I've never come across this before. There you go. You don't want to spook one of those, I can tell you. When I was working in London, I remember riding home once over Wanstead Flats. And Wanstead Flats, if you don't know, is 2 fields either side of a main road, I forget which number it is. And a cow had wandered out, and this blue Astra, hadn't seen it. And it wrote the Astra off, but I've never heard an animal make a sound like that cow did. Never ever. So, and if I'm on a bike, these guys just hammer me into the ground like a tack. What have we got here? More sheep. See, sheep are fairly straightforward. They're stupid and dopey. It's like, oh look, free food, more hay, more grass. It's like all my birthdays come at once, and then all of a sudden they just walk out into the road because the tarmac is warmer. And then they just sit in the road. But while they're eating, they're fairly reliable. See, just like this one. Oh, you do get them up here. The famous Herdwick kamikaze sheep. But anyway, yeah, Alton Scar. I mean, this is where you go if you want somewhere to ride that isn't a Lake District. Oh, I'm being stared down by a sheep. Come on, sunshine. Oh, joy. Sheep's giving me the eyeball. You're coming in my man and there, son. Come on, you silly bugger. So this is why I need the scorpion pipe. This is why loud pipes save lives. Not mine necessarily, but the sheep's. Yes, that was Alton Scar. On the B6260, it runs from Alton down to Appleby. And then we'll see what treasures that has to hold. Now, when I say know your enemy, it goes way beyond other vehicles. Just as we went over Alton Scar, you're wary of crosswinds because it's so exposed. Right now I can see fresh cut grass on one side of me and I can smell grass. So I'm wondering if there's a maintenance vehicle up ahead that's still cutting. As we can see, sheep can be a problem, and on very rare occasions so can the cows. Surfaces is another big one. Not so much here, but if you get into the fells, especially after a heavy rainstorm, you get a lot of gravel that washes onto the road. So these are all things you need to keep an eye at. This twat here, who is either parked, no, he's carrying on going, or he's turning right at that junction. There's one thing I've learned about riding around Cumbria is you don't switch off. Means every now and again I've got to shake these elbows out. Get a little too tense. Here we go, so we can still smell fresh grass. We've got fresh grass in the road. I reckon there's going to be a maintenance vehicle somewhere soon. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Quick mirror check. Nothing in the dip. There we go. So that's what I mean, you got to get subtle with things. There's obvious hazards and there's less obvious hazards. So I can't see the junction, but I can see the road sign for it. Things like that. Whoops. Yeah, I'm just keeping my mouth shut for a while and concentrate on my riding. Yeah, know your enemy, mud on the roads. Things like that, you know, it's just little things, but they make the world of difference. I'd rather be aware of it and be wrong than be unaware of it and have a tractor around there, or a huge splash of mud across the road, or any of the above. It makes me an overcautious rider, but you know, I'd rather that way than the other way round. And here we go, into the town of Appleby. Now, before Cumbria was Cumbria, you had Cumberland and Westmoreland, and this was the capital, I believe, of Westmoreland. It's a pretty little place. The only thing about it is every June it has this Appleby Horse Fair, which creates some friction, shall we say. It's been going on for bloody donkey's years. I mean, something like since the 1500s. This place has had a horse fair, and despite any problem those 3 days create, they can't get rid of it. I'm not saying they want to. I'm sure it brings a lot of business, but I've been up here 5 years now, and amongst all the good stories that I've never heard, all I've heard are the bad ones. There you go, it's on the Settle to Carlisle line. Settle to Carlisle is a particular railway line, especially one of the prettiest journeys in England. Haven't done it yet myself. So now we've got ourselves on the other side of the valley. That's the North Pennines in front of us. We just left Temple Sabre. We're going into a town called, or a village called Coolgate. And Coolgate is a lovely little place. When I first moved down there, I wanted to live in Coolgate, just because it was a nice place to be. And it's funny what 5 years difference can make, because I know it's out of my price range now. That's Coolgate, just up there. Oh, I still don't like these cattle grids and level crossings. They give me the heebie-jeebies, especially level crossings. Just in case, you know, someone forgets to put that barrier down. You go across to the best will in the world. Bang! Sorry, didn't see the barrier up. And there we go, into the village of Langwathby. And if the Lake District really is chocker full of people, then this is of course is on the road to the Hartside Pass. So I've got plenty to occupy myself with if the lakes aren't available. But yeah, there we go, Langwathby. So that puts us on the other side of the Eden Valley. And I think that'll probably do us for now, because I'm not entirely sure how much battery power I've got left. So until next time, take care everyone, and I'll speak to you all soon.